Welcome back. In part 1, we explored what artificial intelligence is, how it has evolved, and how it powers many of the apps and services we use every day. But one fascinating question still remains. How does ChatGPT actually generate answers? That's exactly what we're going to discover in this video, step by step, using simple examples that anyone can understand. Every conversation with ChatGPT begins with a simple question. The moment you press enter, your message is processed by a powerful AI model. It doesn't search your words one by one like a person reading a book. Instead, it analyzes the entire prompt, understands the relationships between the words, and begins generating a response. But before it can do any of that, it first has to learn. Think about how a student prepares for an exam. Before answering questions, the student spends months reading textbooks, solving problems, and learning from teachers. AI works in a similar way. Before it can answer your questions, it goes through a long learning process using enormous amounts of information. The information that AI learns from is called training data. This training data can include books, articles, websites, research papers, publicly available code, and many other forms of text. During training, the AI studies patterns across this information. It isn't memorizing every sentence. Instead, it learns how language is structured and how ideas are connected. Here's one of the most important ideas in AI. ChatGPT doesn't store knowledge the way humans memorize facts. Instead, it learns patterns. Imagine showing thousands or even millions of pictures of cats. Over time, the AI begins recognizing the common features that make something look like a cat. The same idea applies to language. It learns patterns in words, sentences, and ideas, not by thinking, but by recognizing relationships. Before AI can understand language, it first breaks your message into smaller pieces called tokens. A token might be a whole word, part of a word, a punctuation mark, or even a space. These tokens become the basic building blocks that the AI processes to understand your question. Let's take a simple sentence. What is AI? Instead of treating it as one complete sentence, the AI divides it into smaller tokens. It processes these pieces one by one while also understanding how they relate to each other. This makes it easier for the model to understand meaning and generate accurate responses. ChatGPT belongs to a family of AI systems called large language models or LLMs. The word large refers to the enormous amount of training data and the massive number of internal parameters the model uses. A language model is designed to understand and generate human language. After training on a vast amounts of text, it can answer questions, summarize information, translate languages, write stories, and much more. At the heart of every large language model is something called a neural network. It is inspired by the way neurons connect inside the human brain, although it works very differently. A neural network is made up of many connected mathematical units that process information together. As data moves through these connections, the model gradually learns increasingly complex patterns. Modern AI models contain billions of these tiny connections, often called parameters. Each connection contributes a small part to the final prediction. Alone, a single connection does very little. But when billions of them work together, they enable the AI to recognize patterns, understand context, and generate surprisingly natural responses. One of the biggest breakthroughs in modern AI is an architecture called the transformer. Introduced in 2017, it transformed how machines understand language. Instead of reading words one at a time like older systems, transformers look at relationships between many words simultaneously. This makes them much better at understanding meaning and generating fluent responses. A key feature of the transformer is something called attention. Imagine reading the sentence, "The cat sat on the mat." It was soft. To understand what it refers to, you need to connect it with the right word in the earlier sentence. Attention allows AI to focus on the most relevant words, helping it understand context much more effectively. Context is one of the reasons conversations with ChatGPT feel natural. Instead of treating every message as completely independent, it uses the conversation history to better understand your current question. This helps it provide responses that are more relevant, consistent, and connected to what you've already discussed. Now comes the fascinating part. ChatGPT doesn't generate an entire sentence at once. Instead, it predicts one token at a time. First, it predicts the most likely next token, then uses that prediction to generate the following one, repeating the process again and again until a complete response is formed. Imagine the AI starts with the word "the." Based on everything it has learned, it predicts the next most likely token. Then it predicts another and another. One small prediction at a time gradually becomes a complete sentence. This happens incredibly fast, often generating dozens of words every second. ChatGPT sounds natural because it has learned the patterns of human language from an enormous amount of text. It has learned grammar, writing styles, sentence structure, and how ideas usually flow together. It doesn't have emotions or consciousness, but its training allows it to generate responses that often feel surprisingly human. This is one of the most common questions people ask. The short answer is no. ChatGPT doesn't think, understand, or feel the way humans do. It doesn't have beliefs, emotions, or self awareness. What it does exceptionally well is recognize patterns and predict language based on what it learned during training. Another common misconception is that ChatGPT always searches the internet before answering. In reality, that's not how it normally works. By default, it generates responses using what it learned during training. However, some versions of ChatGPT can also use web browsing tools to access current information when that capability is enabled. Today, we've taken a journey inside ChatGPT. We learned how AI is trained, what training data is, how text becomes tokens, how large language models and neural networks work, why transformers are so powerful, and how ChatGPT predicts one token at a time to generate natural language. Understanding these ideas helps us see that AI is based on mathematics, patterns, and engineering, not magic. You've now learned what AI is and how ChatGPT generates answers. But every powerful technology also has limitations. In part 3, we'll explore topics such as AI hallucinations, bias, privacy, and how to use AI responsibly. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Techno Corporators and join us as we continue exploring the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. See you in part 3.